You know, I was just kind of thinking it would be funny. I walk around like that and set things up a lot after I've already hit record. And if we ever did decide to have baby number 3, it would be pretty funny to have that be the pregnancy announcement. Like, just suddenly, it's a bump one day instead of me. Like, instead of me alone, it's me plus 1. That would be good. I'm not pregnant. I do feel pretty junked today, though. Like, I may as well be. I am falling into a migraine, like, free falling. But I know exactly what I want to tell you about in this video. So we're gonna bust right through it and kill the game. You guys are gonna get some great tips today. Today I wanted to talk about some of the ways that I talk to my kids about my disability and other ways that I communicate with them in order to make our days go more smoothly. So here's the thing. I have 2 toddlers. They're 1 and they're 2. But, well, they're 1 and 2. But I can't lift more than 10 pounds. So I cannot pick up or physically restrain my toddlers, and that makes it very interesting to be their primary caretaker and their full-time mom. But I do manage it, and I'm not a full-time YouTuber. This is like extremely part-time. I'm actually a full-time mom, and YouTube is just how I keep my sanity on the side. It's very much a passion project. It's a hobby. I'm not making money on it. I'm actually losing money because I need to put in money to produce the videos and to hire babysitters so that I can make them. Anyway, I'm a mom. Momming with chronic migraine is my gig. Since I can't use rude. Oh, it's a leaker friend who got scheduled for surgery. Did I tell you my CT myelograms are in less than a week? 1 week from right now, I will be post-op. I will be done. Yes. Okay, let's stop interrupting. Since I can't use my hands and my arms to get my toddlers to do what I want them to do, I have to use patient explanations for literally everything. In this video, I will tell you some of the communication strategies that I use with my 1 and 2-year-olds to accomplish being their full-time stay-at-home mom, even with chronic migraines. Coming soon, I'm going to be doing a video of my house and some of the things I have set up here. So make sure you hit subscribe if you're interested in more momming with migraine content. And then in addition, I also already posted a video about managing migraine triggers when you have toddlers, which is very relevant if this video is relevant to you. So check those out. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm just taking a little break. I feel like it's really hard for me to be social when I'm migraine-y, so it takes a lot out of me to think of things and then explain them. Alright. I really don't feel good. Okay, here we go, Jen. Let's start with the positive. I like to be really proactive so that the girls don't get loopy. And by that, I mean I like to give them little assignments and little projects. I can't do the same thing every day, so we don't really do the same thing every day. I like to start the day with an itinerary. Here are roughly the things we're gonna do today. So this morning it was, okay girls, today after breakfast, we're gonna go to this jumpy place, and then we'll come home for our nap. It was a super crude outline. And as we got closer to each scheduled event, I filled in the little details of the tinier things we had to do, like go potty and put on your shoes. They're too young for all of that at the get-go, at the very beginning of the day, but I can always fill those things in later. But the understanding is shocking, even at like 1.5. I never would have expected that my 1.5-year-old would understand me telling her, hey, when you wake up from your nap, someone else is gonna be here, not mommy. But she gets it. Then she understands and she gets confused if it's me when she wakes up and not the babysitter. And by giving them little assignments and projects along the way, they get to feel really helpful and really involved. So it's not just, here's the itinerary, it's, here's the itinerary, time to get shoes. Can you please go get your own socks and shoes? They just love helping and they love being involved. And implementing these things has stopped basically all of the goodbye tears. You know, like when you leave the playground and the kids are like, no, I never wanna go. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some of that later, but for the meantime, at this age, my girls are not grumpy when we're leaving places because they're getting lots of warning, they're getting lots of heads up about what steps they're gonna have to take, And they get to know exactly what they can do to make me happy, to make me praise them. And at this age, they're so sweet. They just want to make you happy. So be proactive, give them assignments, keep them really involved. Because again, for me, if my kid starts tantruming, they decide they don't want to leave, well then I'm screwed. I literally can't leave. I cannot pick up the toddler. So needless to say, we have really good cooperation with each other now, out of literal necessity. For smoother transitions between the two activities, I do start talking about the next activity as well while we're wrapping up the previous one. So when we're about to leave that park, or like this morning, the jumpy place, not only am I giving them the assignment about what they should be doing right now, I'm also telling them what they have to look forward to, which is giving them a reason for listening right now. By doing that, I'm filling in the itinerary that they're probably already planning in their head. Because if I didn't give them an idea of what was going to happen next, then after they put on their shoes, they probably would have come up with the brilliant idea to maybe take the shoes right back off, go find a basket, dump it out, go color on a wall, go pee on the bathroom floor. My girls actually have never done that. So yeah, I just always have instructions going. Even if the instructions are to touch the red on my car, touch the red will keep them occupied a couple minutes. I'll rip a piece of paper into 18 bits and have them take them one at a time to throw them away in the trash. Or maybe I'll ask my older daughter to help my younger daughter do something, or send them on a mission to find a certain toy. These things are hard for Migraine Jen to come up with and really hard for Migraine Jen to implement, but it can be a lot easier than fussing. And like I mentioned earlier, my girls really enjoy the process of helping. Most toddlers do, as long as it's usually a positive experience for them. So I try to really take advantage of how much they want to be helpful, and when that doesn't work, I turn it into a game of Simon Says. Of course, I'm not proactive all the time, and oftentimes when it's their turn to be bored and come up with their own games, they will ask me to play a game with them that I simply cannot play. For example, the crashing games that they like to play with their dad, that I really wish I could play with them, but it's not safe or wise for me to do it with my health. So here are some examples of ways that I tell my 1 and 2-year-olds that I have a disability, and ways that I hold my physical boundary around that disability. Most of the time with my babies, I don't overcomplicate it. I just tell them I don't feel up for it, but we can blank instead. And there are some strategies behind what to choose to do instead, and we'll get into that later. During my recovery, it was really important that they didn't touch me on my back, so we were telling them that I had owies on my back, we showed them the Band-Aids, and we told them other ways that they can make me feel better other than hugs and general toddler aggression love that they do. We told them that there are more appropriate ways to help me feel better, like giving kisses on my face or giving rubs on my arm. And it was a great time for them to learn about consent and asking when they can hug and stuff like that. And I have to say, the 1.5-year-old isn't quite there yet to understand things, but our 2-year-old is definitely understanding a lot of things around having injuries. For example, my 2-year-old knows that I can't pick her up because my brain leaks. And if I do pick something up that's heavy, she'll say, "But Mom, your brain leaks." She obviously doesn't know what that means, but she knows that I can't lift because of it. And in addition, the 1-year-old, she doesn't know the brain leak thing, but she does know that I can't pick her up. She doesn't ask for me to pick her up anymore, even though she's super attached to me. The second I sit down, she's gonna come and be on my lap. She's gonna be all over me, but if I'm standing up and I'm standing next to someone else and she wants uppy, she's gonna go to that person, even though she's uber attached to me. Ridiculously attached to me. But I am very straightforward with them. I tell them straight up that I just don't feel that good. I tell them Mommy's sick. It's sad. It's sad, and it's something I wish I didn't need to talk to them about, but I do want it to be something that's normalized, something that's not like taboo or something that we shy away from or something that we hate. I don't want it to be the elephant in the room or some kind of weird topic that we can't avoid or be honest with each other about. I feel like especially within the walls of our house, it's important for the communication to be just crazy open. And then that way, when stuff comes up with their friends at school and their friends at school notice that their mommy's a little bit different, they'll know exactly what words to use with them and with those children's parents so that everyone can understand what's up with this weird chick who seems totally normal, but then her kids don't even get picked up by her. But I do think it's okay to feel sad or to feel sad together, feel sad with your toddler. So a lot of times when we hug and I'm consoling her because she's sad that she can't play something in particular with me, I'll also be explaining to her that I feel the same sadness, but I'm so thankful that we can do this other thing instead. And here are some coping strategies that I'm doing to help myself feel better, like deep breaths or whatever alternate activity. When I do feel like I'm not up for something and I need to redirect them, like I said, there are some strategies that I use to try to redirect them more effectively. You can't just pick a random activity and throw it at them. You have to pay attention to what they're in the mood for. Now, when the kids are babies, you can basically just distract them that way. If they want something that's on the counter, you can say, oh look, a ball, and throw it, and they'll literally forget everything and go straight for the ball. Once they hit one-ish, fixate. A lot of babies even younger than that. You can't simply distract. You have to take what they want and actually redirect it. I'm shaky. Look at that. Oh. So one thing that I am always not up for is crashing. They love running and crashing on their dad. It's a great sensory activity for kids, lots of benefits to it. However, I can't be the subject. So if they ask me to crash, which they do because they know they need to ask me, I of course have to say no, but then I can say, but here's something that you can crash into instead. I see you feel like crashing your body right now. What's something we can crash into that is safe? I can even use that opportunity to remind them, remember, mommy is sick. Mommy can't get crashed. We only play crash with daddy. What's another place where we can crash? At 1.5, she is listening and she's understanding the gist of it. At 2.5, I feel like she is actually comprehending the things that I'm saying because she's saying sentences back to me that aren't reiterations, but they are really long and explain to me kind of what I just explained to you. Like, I can see her redirecting herself sometimes. So at 2.5, I feel like she is getting it. Just to like give you a ballpark of when I think the kids can get this. If the kids are yelling, I tell them, of course, to not. But I'll say something along the lines of, oh, you feel like using your voice right now? What's a good way we can use your voice? Maybe we should sing a song. So the first time I gave the idea, maybe we should sing a song. Next few iterations, I stopped giving the last couple lines of whatever the instructions were that I was giving. So maybe the next time I said, oh, you want to use your voice? Well, the yelling is hurting my ears. Maybe we can do something nicer. Can you think of something nicer? And I see if she can remember that last time singing was a good idea. And sure enough, eventually she figures out, oh, I can sing. And then give that a little bit of time, and then pull back on another piece of the instructions. Soon I get to say, hey baby A, those noises are kind of hurting my ears. And then in her mind connects now to, what's something different I can do with my voice? And then sometimes it'll connect to, oh, we can sing a song. But then maybe there are other things like do a rhyme that she could also do with her voice, whatever. And the last thing with this stuff is if I really don't want them to do something, I have to be sure to not react to it all that much. So I would just recommend to watch your reactions, especially for the stuff that's really important. If they start screaming, like one habit my girls got themselves into is going, ah, ah, ah. I mean, if you just absolutely start freaking out every time they do that, I heard that just makes it way worse. But for me, I mean, I physically can't handle being in a room when something like that's going on. So I have had success either asking the girls if they want to go do their screaming in their bedroom where it's not hurting other people's ears, or telling them I'm going to remove myself from the room to give my ears a break because it's pretty noisy in here. So I'm not shaming them, I'm not telling them it's bad, I'm just telling them, you know, this is so off-putting that I actually don't want to be around it, even though I love you and playing with you and you're my favorite thing in the world. This sound is so repulsive that I'd rather just separate. And they're like, huh. And there wasn't any shame attached to it or getting in trouble or anything like that, but it seemed to kind of stop. Now, right now they're still very young is the thing. I don't have the terrible threes, the cleverness, the lying and stuff isn't quite happening yet. So I'm getting away with a lot. My girls are still very cooperative. So don't get discouraged, but I hope that some of these ideas are helping. One more way that communication has really helped with managing my toddlers is by turning certain things into habits and things that the girls just expect, so that I can say, well, this is how it always is. This is how we do it every day. It turns into not, you're in trouble for leaving the dinner table. Instead, it's, of course we're eating dinner at the table. We always eat dinner at the table. It's just what we do. But disability specific, I try to make it so that the habits that are built with the girls are habits that are tolerable to me, or ideally, habits that I really like. I heard this quote once, don't let your kids do things that make you resent them, or something like that, and I don't know who said it, and I probably botched it. But it's a good point. Like, you're in charge, so even if it's weird, you can set the rules. For example, I have to take a lot of flat time for aforementioned brain leak. So a lot of the times, the things that I'm doing with my girls, I'm flat. It's not normal, and sometimes they know it's not normal, but a lot of times I'm just flat, and that's just how it is. That's the habit. So for example, when I read books to them, I lay down flat. And it took a little while for them to figure out how to lay down next to me so that they could see the pages of the book with me, but now we have it down. It's worth taking the time to get your systems down. And then when my girls ask me to sit up, I let them know that I need to lay down. Sometimes I even use the word compromise. I tell them, thank you for coming to me. Thank you for accommodating me. Even though they can't quite understand it now, I know that they will understand it later. They will understand it soon, and they'll understand it probably sooner than I think they will. So I'm starting to implement things sooner than I think I need them. And the 4 things that I focus on to reconnect with my kids, and I focus on these things by name. It's physical touch, playful situations, so laughter, eye contact, and my full presence. Even when things get eruptive, it's a little bit chaotic, or maybe you got into a little bit of a heated argument with your toddler, I think what's really important is that you make up with each other afterwards and you reconnect intentionally and never stop saying, I love you. You've got this, migraine mama.